computer is enough of a setup. I'm using a $300 phone from Mexico, so.
Wow. So sorry, forgive me. So I'm on the YouTube and I'm subscribed to you. And so when you go live, then I just click onto that and then I can see the chat. Is that what happens? Sorry.
Yeah, so you go into the YouTube
and
you go into the comments on the live video, which should be up and available now. And then you see what comments people post.
Got it. Okay, so
welcome everybody. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to, well, we do this every week. For those watching the replay, 12 p.m. Eastern, or usually a little bit after. And this is a free, and you go under the comments on the live video, which I'm getting feedback. Is that from me or is that from somebody else? Okay, feedback's over. So every week, 12 p.m. or a little bit after, here's the Zoom link in the comments. And this is free, though. If you want to support me in continuing to offer this, I accept donations for the session, and it really helps me continue to do this and be supported by this weekly session. So that's also in the YouTube comments. And when you join the Zoom room, you can more easily ask your questions live. So there's not so many limits to the questions that we can kind of take in the session. It's open inner energy system where we can start to tap into whatever beliefs or frequencies need to move within you. But we can also take more collective questions, more general questions. It's totally up to you. So personal questions are much better when you do it live, as we can have that back and forth interaction. Though the general questions are pretty easy to answer via text. So thanks again for being here. Thanks for the support you share. Now I'm in the process of creating a channeled book, and it contains really all of the information that the Pleiadian Council brings through in a kind of more organized, structured way to go even deeper into that material. So you can look forward to that sometime next year. I have one-to-one sessions for people to go deeper. I offer long-term programs where we can really put these principles to work and make bigger changes in your life, and also a channeling course that teaches you how to channel and apply many of the intuitive gifts that the Pleiadian Council talk about in these sessions. So contact me for any of that. It's all on dantestarshine.com. So we'll get started unless there's any questions about the logistics here, and we'll let you have the interactions you're looking for today. Trying to level out the camera a little bit.
Oh, and adding a co-host.
Right, I need to do that. Thank you. That's a little better, isn't it?
All works out.
looks good.
There we go. All right. So enjoy the session, and I'll see you afterwards. Hello, please say good day to you this moment of your time. As the Plaiedian Council, it's a pleasure and honor to once again establish contact with you in this way. We thank you for allowing these interactions to take place and these energies to be integrated through your own experience in your personal lives, as that is what allows for your Earth's frequency to raise, to be a more resonant match for open contact in all the transformation you may see. So our thanks is with you. We come to support you in the ways that you, as individuals and as a community and collective, seek to evolve. And again, this happens the more that you tap into your own frequency of love, whatever elicits the greatest feeling of passion within you, and you follow that feeling to the best of your ability without insisting on any one particular outcome. So we trust all of you to enjoy the expansion that you experience through listening to your own inner guidance system. We can offer a brief message today that could be as follows. When you do follow your passion and it leads you into what you might experience as a roadblock, oftentimes this is the point at which individuals give up or start to regret something that they did along the way. And while this frequency of regret is something that you must tap into and process consciously, it is best to understand that it is only another buffer slowing the engine of your passion down. So instead, when something arises that you did not intend, the invitation is for you to look at it as a lesson and understand again the outcome is the reflection of the frequency with which you engaged in the process. So what you are experiencing is the result of all the energy you put out. And that moment is simply a point of refinement in which you can change the frequency that you put out and look at the beliefs underlying that might have caused you to interpret the signs in particular ways. So recognize that what you know is your intuition is also shaped by your own beliefs. So you might have been getting an intuitive pull to follow a certain path. And what you then discover is perhaps, oh, my intuition was off. But it wasn't your intuition that was off. Your intuition worked perfectly. Because again, all intuition is that feeling frequency that leads you to the most resonant pathway. And sometimes what that pathway shows you is that some idea was causing you to misinterpret the frequency of said pathway. And when you can go inside and own whatever that belief might be and start again, the engine of passion can keep going, can keep regenerating, can keep steering you exactly where you need to go. Sometimes you will notice synchronicity at work blocking you from following a certain pathway. Synchronicity might manifest as other people canceling appointments just before the moment they were to begin, other energies slowing you down, interfering, perhaps you miss a connection, and often you will seek to interpret the seeming negative synchronicities as something going wrong, when actually these moments are ways that you are being protected from outcomes that might not be in your highest benefit. So know that synchronicity, as you follow your passion, does not only work in one direction, it does not only give you signs to follow positive pathways, it works to block off pathways that are not leading you somewhere truly resonant with your own soul. So know that the universe does not make mistakes, and you as the creator of your experience can always become more self-aware by interpreting the result of what has become your outcome, your experience. And know that when other people are involved in that process in ways that might seem negative, it is not your fault that other people allow their negative beliefs to cause themselves to behave in negative ways to you. They are still, in that same sense, distorted through their own belief systems, resulting in their own destructive behaviors. Yet at the same time, there was a frequency within you that made you a compatible match to that person's frequency. You played the perfect balance between two sides of a coin. So know that everyone is always responsible to some degree for every manifestation. So the final thing to say about this is, yes, take responsibility, yet also understand the co-creative nature of this reality. Your frequency always matches you with the perfect co-creators for every interaction. So we thank you for integrating this message in your understanding, and we hope that it brings you to understand that seeming negative outcomes are always there for you to use in positive ways, and they can actually add momentum to your engine rather than slow you down. Though it is up to you to take life at whatever pace works for you. Excitement does not always have to be something exuberant and intense. It can be a slow, steady progression of loving energy. So our thanks to all of you again, and we ask now, how can we serve and assist you this moment of your time?
Hello, Great Council. Thank you for this amazing transmission.
Yes, our thanks to you.
I've got a question, if I may ask. There was an experience last night where I noticed I could manually tune to certain thought frequencies. There was certain, let's say, a negative frequency that I randomly landed upon, or maybe I was a bit, it was revealing a bit of a subconscious thing. Yet then something came over me and just kind of started a different kind of dialogue, and it reminded me an aspect that I've heard prior, possibly prior channeling, that we tune to thought forms. So I was wondering, what was that all about, in a sense?
Were you tuning to the thought forms of others?
I wasn't necessarily sure. Initially, yes, it felt so, as if it felt I was hearing negative thought forms. And eventually, it's as if an inner voice just picked up from inside and went into different positive state.
Yes. So as beings of vibration, your thoughts are vibration, and the thoughts of others can ripple out from their energy field. As a sensitive being, you can misinterpret those thoughts as your own. The thoughts can be from the local environment around you, or again, in this modern time, you can even tap into the thoughts of people at great distance through the idea of your social media. So when you are in touch with that inner voice of your own higher self, you are able to allow any of these energy fields to simply reflect and wash off of you. Though the key is in coming to know the difference between which thoughts are your own and which thoughts are simply the fields others are generating and you are tuning into. So part of this mechanism of tuning into the energy other people are putting out does require that there is something that resonates with you in a core way. So you won't necessarily tune into the thoughts of others if there's not a part of you that believes that same thought. And that's why it becomes very tricky to notice which of these energies originates from you and which of them comes from others. You experience your own experience of their energy. So we say this to affirm to you that you aren't literally taking in energy from others. It is simply that your own channel attunes to the vibration that they are putting out because there is a shared common belief at the core. And thus, when you are experiencing interactions with others, it is always helpful to notice that all of the energies that you prefer and those that you don't prefer are reflections. When there is a strong emotional charge of either an attraction or a repulsion, that is reflecting some part of you that you need to get in touch with.
That is truly amazing. Indeed, it did feel like those other thought forms were like living on their own, yet did resonate some really prior and older subconscious beliefs that I still am clearing up. So thank you.
Oh yes, thanks to you.
Well, there's a question in the Zoom. I could bring it up.
Oh, yes.
It said, I would love to hear your reading. I would love to hear your reading of energies behind jealousy and how to deal with it.
All right, yes. Well, first, let's speak of the difference between jealousy and envy in a loose way, because often these ideas are confused. Envy being the desire to have something other people have, whether it is many possessions or a certain lifestyle or so on and so forth. And this envy reflects what you truly desire. The envy is the energy of your own excitement that you have disowned through your negative beliefs. So in others, you see a potential you desire, but a belief within you is so strong that says, I cannot have this, I cannot integrate this, I cannot be or become what they are. And so a field of resentment is created towards oneself and others. The best thing to do with this energy is to work on the limiting beliefs that say you cannot have what you want, and show yourself the ways that you can generate the abundance or whatever manifestation it might be that you truly desire. Now, jealousy is usually connected more with being jealous of affection from a particular person, being jealous of other people having that you are attracted to, experiencing affection with others. And this is one of the most powerful and intense human emotions to process and integrate. This has been, in a sense, part of what has led to so many constructs and conditions in your world. At early stages, humans were intimidated by the intense emotions that could be evoked within them through sexuality and relating. And thus, many of these barriers were created. And part of these barriers are ideas of owning other people, instead of partners being people that you co-create with. You, on some level, treat them as objects. When you use constructs such as marriage, or boyfriend and girlfriend, or them friend, and so on and so forth. So, to truly go past this experience is to open to higher degrees of unconditional love, where you are tapped into a sense that love for others is to have their best interests at heart. The highest expression of loving another person is to support them in all of the ways that serve their best interest and the best interest of all. So integrating that means then understanding sometimes, even though you may want to be very close to someone, what is in their best interest is to be close with someone else, and to give over that experience and trust that, again, your fixation on that particular person is a form of insistence on an outcome, whereas actually the core energy of your excitement is human connection, and you can meet that need for human connection with other individuals as well. When you release that insistence and you send a blessing of love that whatever makes my beloved happiest is best for me too, then this jealousy can be transformed, and you can transition into styles of relating with others that highlight individual choice and freedom. And that process for many will be one where you encounter many negative beliefs along the way, and you process many of these emotions. So when you can get in touch with the beliefs beneath the jealousy in your own perhaps lack of worth or lack of deserving or lack of love in some way, you can come to learn how to be your own lover, be your own parent, be your own caregiver first, not to diminish the need and importance of the outside love. But when you are anchored and supportive for yourself and your own energy, you are then allowed to go much deeper with others, because you create a more solid foundation within yourself to sow the seeds of relating.
Hello, Pleiadian Council.
Hello, yes.
Hello. There is a question in the Zoom, in the YouTube chat. Is that okay to read?
Yes.
Okay. It says from Anne, we like 2 houses, 900 North Ditmas and 3309 Pine. They're not listed, so we're trying to see if there's an overlapping price on either or both where they'd sell and it's in our best interest to buy. If one or the other would be a better fit for us energetically, we'd love to know that and any other advice related to the other properties or our own home search. Thank you.
We cannot answer this in specific ways other than, again, affirming that listening to the frequency in your own heart as you go through these decision-making processes will be what guides you down the clearest path. Make sure that none of your own limiting beliefs are in the way. And as you listen to your own inner guidance, the frequency of passion will show you which path serves you the most as you continue on this search.
And here comes another Zoom question. What is the difference between following your passion and following your heart? Is there some overlapping or any advice on making the distinctions if needed?
No, there is no difference except in terms of vocabulary, really. Excitement is a more specific idea, and we add many other words to this so that it can be applied through many individuals' various experiences. In other words, you will all have your own terms for how you interpret this frequency. So no interpretation of this is perfect. That is why we say it is passion, love, excitement, joy. It feels like expansion. And yes, you feel that energy most through your heart. So it is that attunement with your heart and that ability to act upon whatever generates the greatest warmth, openness, or positive sensation in any way in that area of your heart through your entire body will be what leads you in the best direction. Again, the understanding is your heart is the receiving device for the frequency from your own higher mind that has the bigger overview, and therefore your heart can seem irrational because it, without having a logical understanding, is guided in a direction that might not be exactly logically or rationally what seems fitting, but your higher mind and your heart knows the seeming unknowable aspects of the situation and guides you there so that you can discover which path is most resonant every step of the way.
Hello, Plaiedian Council. Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Hi, I want to ask about the different channeling that's called Pleiadian. Many different Pleiadian channels or people claiming to channel Pleiadians. I find this channel with Dante is fantastic. I just can't get enough of it. It's really good. There are other ones that say they're the Pleiadians, and you've said that you're involved in some other channeling. And how come, I don't know, I mean, this one just seems amazing. Like I want everyone to listen to this one, even people who don't know about channeling. And then some of the other ones, I think, well, that's giving it a bad name. That's giving the Pleiadians a bad name. Can you comment on all this?
The channels for our energy always bring forward our frequency through their own belief systems and preconceived notions about reality and integrated understandings of reality. So while we do share with the channel bits of information, ideas, images, and stories that are not immediately known to the channel in the moment, we have to use the channel's vocabulary and understandings in order to bring that information in a way that can be communicated to others. So every channel is going to, in their own way, distort our frequency. So the channels, in a sense, are really energy hubs that allow you to tap into our frequency or the frequency of higher self or whatever specific guide they are channeling. They give you access to bring that energy into your own body and energy field in a way that you understand. And you may resonate with this channel more because there is a shared level of understanding or values or beliefs that brings the vocabulary that we use through this particular channel and the frequency that comes through this particular channel to be more relatable and understandable to you and to others who resonate. So again, the idea is to simply follow what resonates. And yes, there are beings that work with our frequency and channel us that have more deeply held negative beliefs, and our energy still comes through these channels while the message can be more fear-based because of the negative beliefs held by the channels. And the people that are attracted to this will be people who resonate with similar fear-based energies. And in that sense, there is nothing wrong because they have not yet become self-aware enough to decide to dismantle their own negative beliefs. And there can be times when individuals move beyond the fear-based energy of any one particular teaching channel, religion, and so on, to take the foundation of what resonates with them in a more clear, undistorted way.
Thank you very much. That's very nice, very clear. Can I ask another question?
Yes.
I wanted to ask about how you see the world at the moment. We're in times of change all over the world still. I live in Italy. So I live in Italy. I have friends who live in Cambodia. I have family in England, the channels in America. Can you speak about what you see in probabilities and timelines and energies of the immediate future for us in different parts of the planet?
Now we would say you are about roughly 2/3 of the way through the experience of this pathogen spreading across your planet and the restrictions that are resulting from that spread. This is a time of pivotal self-awareness in the masses, and it is also a time of this splitting into parallel realities of experience, meaning the intensity of these divisions are leading people to go further down the paths that they are already on, further ingrained in the belief systems that they have been working with, and creating, in a sense, different camps, which again are different parallel realities that exist within the same world. The shifts will take place over the next year that leads to a return to some sense of normalcy for some places. Other places will continue to stay in a deeper sense controlled, manipulated, or restricted. And it has very much to do with the frequency of these places and those attracted to them. It is triggering a grander awakening, whereas many individuals are coming to be freed from the grip of the consensus reality conditioning and are beginning to question so many of the stories they've learned about who they are and how the world works. You all have the ability to have positive experiences within your restrictions. So remember that when you are limited, the limitations are only directing you to the best possible pathways, and that frequency of passion and excitement is what will show you what to do with your energy in the meantime. As you choose to move away from those locations that limit and restrict you and into the communities that fill you with a sense of connection with those of similar mind and similar heart frequency, you will find that you land in a reality much better than the one you were in before all of these challenges came your way to begin with. As what really makes the biggest difference in the quality of your experience is when you can truly express yourself and share energy with people that are the most resonant with you. And many of you have come to neglect this. And the experience of the splitting and division in your planet will help you to remember that and other understandings of what is truly most important for you.
Thank you. That's very clear. I mean, I'm in a place, I'm for the first time in my life in my own place. I'm nesting. I'm making my little place around me.
Yes.
And it's beautiful. It's something I've dreamed of for decades. I look out the window and it's beautiful. But I'm not connecting. There are not people here that I'm finding yet who are of a vibration or frequency that's similar to me. And when I meet people who are a little bit similar, I say, well, who else is there? They say, nobody. So I'm very happy about the beauty that I see, and it's a place I can afford to live, and I'm comfortable.
Yes.
I'm finding all kinds of things that I want to do, especially my creativity. I can see a load of things I can do. And then there's this thing that the connection is not happening like I thought it would do. So I'm hoping that somehow I can generate that just by, I'm hoping that it'll happen. But are you thinking that perhaps here I am nesting and putting a lot into my nest, into my place, making my home really nice? Am I in the wrong place?
No. As again, many of the connections that will support you can come from afar in the times of your digital world. You will still meet others that resonate with you. It will, in your area, more will happen over time. So in that sense, you don't need to rush that experience. As long as you are following your passion in the moment, you can consider this time a period of greater integration, as you are now given more freedom and more personal space than has been a part of your life for some time. So understand that it is that time with yourself that will provide you the greatest integration and understanding of all that has brought you to this point. And from then on, you can spring outward and generate new pathways through your passion.
Thank you. Glad to hear that. Cheers.
Yes, so thanks to you as well.
Hello, Pleiadian Council.
Hello,
May I ask a question?
yes.
Thank you for this transmission. As always, I'm so grateful. When I was in Peru, I had an experience during a dream quest where it was led by a shaman with drumming and various sound guidance. And I had a strong vision that I believe was a certain place in Peru. And that vision keeps returning to me in various meditations. And I am going to be in Peru later this month. And I'm just very curious if you have any insights for me, if it's something I should pursue, or if it's any other messages that might be speaking to me. Thank you so much.
What did this place look like?
It was very hilly, and there were many houses and very colorful houses up along the hill, embedded in the hill. And I was at the bottom of the hill. I could view, I kept looking up, and it was a clear blue sky, but it seemed as if I was underwater, but under clear water. It was a little bit wavy at the top, and I felt like I was trying to go up this hill, continuing to go up the hill. And then I don't remember what happened, but almost at the cusp of the water, or the break of the water. And then I don't remember beyond that.
All right. We do not think that where you went in your dream is an actual physical place, but it is a place that you continue to return to. Understand, again, the more that you integrate the experience of your dream time, the more you will be able to use these various places you end up for sources of healing and the integration of energy. There are many places that you can discover in Peru, so stay open to the synchronicities that may light the way to show you various places that might be of resonance and might offer you healing and a connection with the earth energy.
Thank you so much. May I ask a follow-up question to that?
Yes.
So when I'm in Peru, there are various places whereby I go to those places and I very emotional, I start crying a lot. And I'm trying to understand and meditate on that and see what messages might be telling me. Do you suggest that I keep returning to these places where I have such a strong emotional response? Would that help me to tap deeper into what these messages might be? Thank you.
If you are called to return to them, then listen to your own intuition manifesting through that feeling of passion. The high frequency of the land allows you to release limiting beliefs and through your appreciation of beauty and the openness you have to the subtle frequencies available. Go through many layers of personal transformation simply by walking the land and letting the spirits there commune with you. So yes, return to familiar places, but also be open to new ones along the way. Know that where you're going, there are many places that are hidden just around the bend. So do also open up to finding the sacred within places that are less traveled, less known, as there are many hidden gems for you to as well tap into.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your insights as always. Much love.
Oh, thanks. Love to you as well.
Lucas on the Zoom has a question. I don't know if Lucas wants to come on.
Yeah, I'm already on. Can I say it? I'd love to say it. Can I show my face? If it's okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Awesome. It is so awesome to talk to you, Pleiadians. I'm so excited.
Yes, and our pleasure to establish contact with you again.
Awesome. So I have a question. During this new golden age we're coming into, will tattooing become more common as the old system of fear crumbles around us? Because I'm studying to be a tattoo photographer to help out the planet.
Yes, as more individuals release their own fear-based beliefs around this art, there will be an increase in people that turn to it. In the future, there will also be tattoos that are removable, tattoos that can be transferred between people. They will work on more subtle energetic levels. But of course, that is quite some time in the future. So you do have time to engage deeper in that practice if you would like, though do remain aware of the reality that there are individuals who do have reactions to certain inks. So the industry itself may have to go through different evolutions as well.
Thank you.
Though yes, there is a power in this that allows you to impress subtle energies upon the system that do stay with one for life. So tuning into the fine details of how symbols and images hold and create energy patterns will be supportive in having a deeper and more thorough experience of this art.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thanks to you as well.
There is a question in the YouTube, unless there's someone in the Zoom room who'd like to ask a question.
All right, let's continue with the question.
Okay. From Una, could you please talk about the purpose of twin flames, soulmates, and karmic partners and the difference between them? Thank you.
Yes. Let's start with this idea of soulmates first. And as we have shared this information many times, we will give a more summarized version today. So you, as an individual soul, are part of an oversoul. The oversoul contains what you have before called past and future lifetimes. And it also contains parallel soul aspects incarnate concurrently at the same time upon your planet. These other beings that are, yes, members of your oversoul, are similar in function to what you consider past or future lifetimes. Energy exchanges between them. So even without having a conscious connection with these beings, you can unconsciously exchange energies between each other. Often, the beings that you meet that you would consider soulmates would be other aspects of your oversoul already connected to you. Though you must understand that you don't have only one soulmate. You have many. And in fact, because you are a continuously shifting being, with every subtle change in your energy field, it is a complete change in your being. And as you change gradually over time, you connect with different aspects of your oversoul. You are always, in a sense, generating more potential soulmates as you move across the journey of your life. We would also say that to recognize every other being as a perfect reflection of Source supports you in the process of getting clear on which souls resonate with you in the deepest, clearest way. Everything is Source. All is one and the one is in all. And when you meet every individual as a channel for Source's energy, whether they recognize they are doing that or not, you will take the most out of each interaction and be able to cultivate the greatest sense of love from each interaction. At times when you are truly resonant with the best relationship, you will be so open in love that you will be able to connect easily in loving ways with most individuals you meet. So the idea of a twin flame has an element to it that is the dual nature, two complementary aspects to one whole. And the concept is based around this false notion that you are separate without and incomplete without the other part, without the other twin. Understand again that reality is continuously conforming to your description of it. So when you give power to the belief in twin flames, you also give power to this concept that without your other half, you are less than or lacking. And because of that belief, and because of the fact that no matter how close you are with another, you will always remain individuated, this belief creates a friction. It creates a push and pull dynamic between the seeming twins. And that will lead to many complications that ultimately are there to teach both individuals that they themselves are complete aspects of Source without any other influence from others. When you understand your wholeness, you are able to relate to others in more complete and loving ways, as you are not using them as a means to access Source energy. You retain the awareness that you are Source energy. And that does not mean that you do not have needs of others. It simply means that you don't use others to access Source energy. You are persistently aware of your own Source energy. This will make a much more easier flowing dynamic in relationship. Karmic relationships are any relationship that is a reflection potent enough for you to transform some of the trauma and the belief systems that you carry. So many relationships in that sense can be karmic. And the most intense karmic relationships are ones in which two individuals hold oppositional negative belief systems. Both of these oppositional belief systems are in some way limiting, but they are also contradictory to each other. So through the other, you are then able to see your own limiting belief in the opposite of it. And the friction through that mirror allows for a great transformation to take place. Karmic relationships can also manifest, again, through the way that your own energy system seeks perpetuation. When there is a trauma and when there is a negative belief, that field within your energy system will seek resonant matches to play it out with. As again, all emotional fields need presence as awareness and a willingness to feel, as feeling is healing. Though the way that you've been conditioned brings you to believe that there are things that are more important than feeling and healing, and that you must move forward regardless. And this belief causes you to move forward unconsciously and continuously attract people who have the same frequency of those who initially hurt you in a traumatic event. And every time you go through that same loop, you heal and clear some of that initial trauma. You, over time, will come to learn through your feeling when people are holding that pattern. There is a particular way that you will feel inside your body around people who are, in that sense, space holders for the energy field of your perpetrator. And you will know to take a step back and politely decline the invitation to play out the pattern again. Though you only get to that point by playing out and feeling as deeply as you can that initial trauma and reframing the beliefs that you learned from those initial events in ways that empower you. So karmic relationships then can also be the ways that you play out the same pattern until you learn and integrate the lesson. And know that without even knowing it, you are also being the karmic match for others. You are filling the roles for them that are a part of the patterns and stories that they have played out time and time again. So never underestimate yourself. You might seem innocent and sweet in your own undertakings, but for others, you might very well be the placeholder of that villain archetype because of something that you have no awareness of. So pay attention as you go about the dance of your life and notice the field of connection between you and every other. When you start to pay attention to these things, you will learn to prevent yourself a whole lot of pain.
Amazing. We have a Zoom question. With unconditional love being of such importance, do you have a suggestion for how to utilize this for anyone who doesn't feel they ever experienced it?
To utilize what? Unconditional love?
Unconditional love, yes.
All right. We are sure that everyone experiences unconditional love in some way because unconditional love is the underlying fabric of reality. So the way that it expresses is very different. You may experience unconditional love for the beauty of nature, or for a nice meal, or for a certain experience you enjoy very deeply. So if you cannot experience unconditional love for self or for other, recognize that that same frequency manifests as a feeling that arises when you are in any environment or activity that truly resonates with you. To accelerate your experience of unconditional love, then the best thing to do is to follow your passion, as passion is an aspect of unconditional love. It is an engine that will lead you to greater experiences of unconditional love. Again, acceptance is that first step in the gateway in the movement in the direction of unconditional love. So when you are able to accept yourself, you are on the pathway to loving yourself.
Awesome. And we have, we have Cameron who is asking, Cameron is asking, my name is Cameron, is it possible to get an insight on my life ahead? And is there any guidance that can be given at this time?
We cannot answer personal questions of this nature via text, though we could explore with this or other individuals who want to get a sense of their purpose through a dialogue. For this individual, we have one message, one moment. Consider life an empty canvas that you can paint upon. And in that sense, that metaphorically links into the sense that you are an artist of life, and perhaps also work with art in some way as well. Though in whatever way that you already have tapped into creative energy, know that that same creative energy is what allows you to create the tapestry, to weave the tapestry of the various connections and aspects of your life.
Hello, Pleiadian Council. There is a question in the YouTube chat.
All right, thank you.
Okay, from Kina. She says, hello. I think she says, I saw a Draconian in my day-to-day life 1 week ago. How could I see it and why he appeared, please?
When you encounter beings of this vibration, it may be reflecting to you, again, aspects of your own fear-based beliefs. As again, in order to have connections with fear-based others, you need to be holding on to a fear-based energy yourself. So know that something within you guided you to meet this being. And by coming to accept and embrace your own fear, you can also diminish your fear of the other. Understand that any of these fear-based beings that influence you in your reality only have the power to do so when you fear them or experience them as some way other. Remember that all is one, and you always experience a resonant match to your own energy. So there is a way to meet every other as compassion, knowing that it is only through your own energy that you're even able to experience them. So self-compassion here is the first foundation that will lead to an integration of all that which we have said.
Hello, this is Sarah.
Hello.
Hi. So I've just been going through, I know I'm doing a lot of work with my inner child, and that's good, but I spend most of my days alone and doing a lot of music, a lot of creativity, a lot of self-love, a lot of just getting from moment to moment. But I really miss and really long for community. I mean, I can feel what it would be like if I had people around me and we were working together and collaborating on projects, and even online. I'm not doing much collaboration right now, and I'm just very lonely and just starving for community and not knowing how to take steps to bring, to find that land where the people are and find the people that want to move to that land. And, I know some of that land is in Kauai and some of that is here in the Pacific Northwest. But yeah, I'm just, I don't know if it's really a question, just kind of to see like, what do you see in this time for me? Like, am I like you said, we were 2/3 of the way through the pandemic. Like, am I 2/3 of the way toward integrating what the heck it is I'm supposed to integrate before I actively go out in the world? Because this is such an inward time. I guess that's my question.
Know that before you arrive at the larger manifestations you are intending to create, you must have many small victories along the way. So as it comes to connection, embrace all of the connection that is potential here and now. You can connect with many friends online. You can invite people over. You can seek out new connections and new groups that meet and share similar ideas. You can bring those who are willing to come together face to face together. Know that you aren't alone in your feeling of being alone, and that there are many who want to create stronger fields of connection. So part of it is simply in opening to the idea of that connection and inviting them in.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I have a few friends in my COVID pod, my safe pod of people, but they're very busy. It feels like all of my other friends have tons of things going on in their lives, and I'm just sitting doing karaoke and making laser light shows in my room and just creating and learning how to use all my audio equipment. I feel like I'm just like a mad scientist alone in this kind of, yeah, it's, I assume it's all part of learning, building communion within myself.
Yeah.
But
so
okay.
Can you call people into your experience online? Do you have friends you would like to connect with and converse with?
Yeah, I haven't been connecting with my ocean that much lately because he's been busy, and these two women that I used to talk to weekly, I can definitely, and I can do gene key readings and talk to everybody about the gene keys. I've been just kind of really isolated since I went through I know I'm taking a lot of time here, but I went through kind of a big dissolution of my mental body, which just kind of took me away from everything so that I could remember self-love. And I guess I'm just kind of taking one step out of the mental of the institution to walk again. That's how it feels right now. Anyway, it's a lot of time. Thanks for being with me with this question.
Oh, yes. Thanks to you as well. And do remember that connection comes in many forms. So whenever you are feeling alone, remember to reach out. And it is also a reaching out to your own guides as they and we can be sources of connection and contact for you as well. It can also be through animals, through bonding more deeply with your animal allies, and knowing that if there is a desire to connect, there is someone to connect with. So much like we've said in our opening message, if you find that you reach out for connection and it doesn't seem to work, continue to try, continue to follow your passion, because if you weren't destined to find someone to connect with, that wouldn't be what you're passionate about in the first place.
Doesn't even feel like one person. It feels like a whole bunch of people.
Yes,
Okay.
for you, there are many, many people in your field that are creating connection with you already. So it is simply a matter of activating those connections that are already present.
Cool. All right. Thank you so much.
Oh, thanks and love to you as well.
You too.
Hi, Pleiadian Council.
Hello, yes, welcome.
Thank you so much for holding the space. Past couple of days, I've really understood, well, I really felt my soul, like the soul. I am the soul in the body.
Yes.
And yeah, it's just like an absolute playground. And I was,
Yes.
my whole body was obviously like shaking, and I was just recoding and calling in so many things. Would you talk about the kind of idea of our like carbon structure turning more crystalline or more liquid cellularly? Thank you.
Yes. So the shift from carbon-based to silica-based is a gradual process that will, first of all, bring more crystalline structures into your body, specifically into your brain, as the silicon crystal basis is more conducive to the higher frequency energies. So the more, again, you are in attunement with your own higher self and receiving those energies, integrating them in your field, the more those crystalline structures start to form inside of your body. And the shift is gradual, and you are all evolutionarily a part of it. It will take place over some 100 or so years. And some of you will experience those great shifts in your physical bodies here and now.
Thank you. Is that conducive to the idea that us now, I mean, I understand our soul's immortal, we're eternal, I get that. Is that new information you just brought through? Is that saying that, like I've heard obviously that because we're immortal, are our human bodies going to, or could extend past obviously the normal 100 years-ish now-ish because of our accelerated like crystalline structures?
Yes, for many of you that will be true.
Thank you ever so much.
Oh, thanks to you as well.
Hello, Council.
Hello, yes.
I have a question. I've heard it said that each of us has 5 other counterparts. What does this mean, and is this different to one's guides? And I guess lastly, if you can tell me who mine are and where they're from and how they're working with me, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you.
So, counterpart, soul aspects, or past and future lifetimes are all in a way synonymous. Of course, they imply different things and create different ways of interpreting it. Though, yes, your counterparts are also your guides in the same way that all of these various soul aspects can interact with you and guide you, though oftentimes you are also guiding them in their experience, sometimes without even knowing it. your experience is not limited to 5 counterparts, though for most of you, it is hard to manage more than that many relationships with guides or counterparts at a specific time, as each of them has a vast personality and much to impart to you. So some of you may find it is easy to work with many, many different guides, and you can get to know all of them as different friends. And some of you will work with a select few guides. Now, in your case, one moment, let us tune in. You do have an Arcturian counterpart self. They support you in the idea of energy healing and attunement to source consciousness. They help you as you are clearing your own field and entering into various states of consciousness. You have a counterpart that is Syrian nature as well, and their support for you is more to do with entering into bliss states and attuning to sonic frequencies. This guide is one that has not interacted with you quite as much as the others, but will come more to the forefront of your experience if you invite them in and if you do prioritize more experiences of simple healing bliss in nature. You have a counterpart you might consider to be a druid of some kind, one who worked with the elemental forces of the earth. You also have some counterparts that you might consider had a shamanic background and can impart to you different healing methods that you knew from those times and spaces. These are but a few of the counterparts that you can connect with, but are the ones that are most present to this moment.
Thank you so much.
Our thanks to you as well.
Well, since there does not seem to have any more questions, might I ask another, if
Yes.
possible?
Yes, most certainly.
Okay. It's taken me a tad bit of time to formulate it, yet I've noticed on multiple occasions when I set the intention either to meet people that are much more open and talkative, or even to receive knowledge, simply setting the intention in a simple sentence has gotten me some amazing results. Yet I've also noticed that at the same time, I may have certain prior or past belief, or maybe it's even simply in the language that I use, where there's a continual affirmation of the now instead of the intention. And I was kind of wondering if you guys had any tips or help to change these patterns, or maybe just a balance between keeping the intention in mind, but then dealing with the present and current.
So you're saying that you are stating intentions to others, and sometimes there's a mistranslation?
Basically, I state intentions, or I've had experience where I stated intentions, and the intentions, I stated the intentions as a current present while it wasn't there. And it came true a couple of days after. Yet I also do notice that in my common language, I do the complete opposite, which doesn't get me good results. I was kind of wondering if you had any tips on that.
The complete opposite in stating intentions that you don't actually wish to create?
Indeed. even at times looping the current present.
Yes. So it is then simply a matter of becoming aware of why you would have a negative intention. It is not necessarily a genuine intention for negativity, but it is an intention that results in something negative. If such an intention exists, there must be a belief that says that whatever negativity results serves a purpose. And sometimes individuals develop beliefs that martyrdom or some degree of suffering is actually good for them when it is not. That keeps them in the loop. So if you are accidentally intending things into your experience, look at why the result serves you on some level, why it is the natural result of a certain belief system you have about yourself. If suffering serves a purpose, what purpose does it serve? And if that purpose is valid, how can you fulfill the purpose in a higher way?
Thank you. I'll investigate this.
All right, thanks to you. Is that clear?
Yeah, it does lead to a lot of inner questioning and much more of an openness to listen to that inner question, or even taking more time to do so.
All right. We trust that with that inner curiosity, you will find the answers you seek.
Great, thanks.
I guess I'll ask another question really quick. I keep feeling super drawn to Hawaii right now. Maybe it's my Lemurian genetic code but I haven't really physically gotten myself there. I planned a trip before the equinox, but it's like that whole timeline just kind of collapsed. And I do realize even just planning trips and making reservations runs my energy over there and merges me with that field a bit. But I'm just wondering, it's just interesting. The desires that I have don't seem to correspond a lot of times with my body's willingness to actually, or the universe's willingness to breathe life into that desire and really mobilize it. So I tend to conclude, well, I guess it's not the time, but maybe you could talk to that feeling of the discrepancy between that really strong longing and then the ability to manifest that, the ability to have the universe rise up underneath you and have it be the dharma that like moves you to take the trip. Because I have to be really moved to do anything, or else I just hang out and do the same thing. Anyway, do you see Hawaii in my future? And why in the heck am I longing for it so much? And are there steps I can take to make myself ready for that interface in the physical with Hawaii? Kauai specifically.
Of course,
Okay.
there's a longing because it is a match in some way. And it is, in a way, simply a matter of timing. Now, to accelerate that process, there are a variety of things you can do. First of all, we would suggest look at why it is exciting for you. which aspect of the idea of this place is most exciting. Is it the frequency it offers? Is it the experience of nature? Is it the fact that it is something exotic and unfamiliar to an extent? So find whichever aspect excites you most, and perhaps then you find places that have the same kind of a spiritual frequency that calls to you, or places that offer you some sort of an exotic exploration that can take you outside of the norm. Notice here there is a pattern to shoot for something much further away rather than accepting that there is something of perhaps lesser intensity, but of the same core frequency that is right in front of you and available to you. So instead of trying to go all of the way to that far off destination, accept the threads and the breadcrumbs on the trail that resonate with that same frequency, but are more easy to reach, more easy to access. In this way, you will be able to engage with the energy of an excitement, and you can still be present with that longing without losing your grasp on the present moment reality. Then we would suggest look at which belief systems might cause the manifestation of plans that fail. What do you believe about plans or co-creation that keeps some patterns repeating? And finally, we would say, remember, you can always travel astrally to places that call to you. You can connect energetically with the centers on Hawaii or on any place that calls to you on the astral plane when you send yourself to that beyond realm. So know that even where you are, the frequency that you seek is available to you. And we trust that with these different approaches, you can bring the eventual manifestation of this travel dream and other dreams into the now moment at the right time.
Okay. Do you have a suggestion of like something in my environment here that resonates? I mean, we're coming into fall and we packed up the pool. So my water swimming, water dancing days are over for now.
Perhaps a beach, perhaps a mountain, perhaps a certain particular place in nature that calls to you. Perhaps it is somewhere new you've never been before. Perhaps it's somewhere you know well. Though, take a look, perhaps research and go on a day trip that will help you to really integrate in the energy of nature.
Cool. Okay. Thank you so much.
Great. Thanks. See you with us. Any other questions?
Council, I have a question about the sun.
Yes.
So where I live, it's beginning to get darker in the season. Sometimes the sun is, in the summer, very intense, very strong. And I find myself wanting to use sunscreens and sunglasses to protect my eyes and my skin. And now as it's getting darker, I wonder if I'm getting enough sun. And can you talk about sort of what is the ideal amount of exposure for just physical and our own spiritual health? And how does an individual calibrate this for themselves? I guess, is using sunscreen and sunglasses really more counterproductive than it is helpful? And yeah, how can we best take care of our evolving and healing bodies through the change of the seasons. Thank you.
Yes. The amount of sun that an individual can handle is largely dependent on genetics. It has to do with where one's ancestors predominantly lived. Those with much paler skin that has very little melanin have ancestry in places that had very little sun. And so their tolerance for the sun is much less than those who have ancestry in places that are very sunny and warm. So it has to do with your skin type, really, how much you can take. Now, sun before, generally speaking, 10 a.m. is, for most individuals, safe. The intensity of the sun is less than the midday range of UV. And also after 4 or 5 p.m., generally speaking, rather, it is the window of 3 hours before the sunset that the sun is also not as dangerous, not as harmful to you. And you can take in more of it. Now, the sun has information in its light beyond simply the increase in serotonin that you receive from its light and the vitamin D that you receive from its light. You are also taking in this information. Your skin brings that information into your body. And so we would say really it can integrate in as little as 15 minutes or half an hour. Some individuals might find that the experience of sunlight on their skin gives them a great exuberance, a great exhilaration. It touches their soul. And for these individuals, sunbathing is actually a way to deepen into source energy. Sunblock, well, it depends, yes. It depends on one's own sensitivity to the chemicals it contains, which is relatively easy to tell by the way that your skin reacts to said sunblock. To use a natural sunscreen that simply contains zinc is often quite enough for moderate exposure. Again, knowing here that your attunement to your own body will show you how the sun is affecting you. You will be able to feel when you are getting burned if you really bring your awareness into your skin. So if you do not have adequate exposure to sunlight, you can also take vitamin D and other supplements that increase your serotonin to make sure that you are getting all of the health benefits that the sun offers you.
And can you comment on the use of sunglasses? Does that filter out the sort of energetic and information potential of the light that's coming from the sun and elsewhere?
No. Sunglasses are quite fine.
Thank you.
Yes, our thanks to you.
There is a question in the YouTube chat, Pleiadian Council.
All right.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Oh. When you are a big energy human, how can you listen or hear your body signals when to slow down?
Well, the message to slow down is there when you feel as if you're moving too fast. So many of you don't know the difference between the energy of excitement and the energy of anxiety. Many of you experience lots of anxiety without even acknowledging it as such, because it has been so normal to have that experience. So get familiar with the feeling of anxiety. It also expresses yes through your heart, and it can accelerate your heart. But unlike the energy of passion, it can feel like a tightening, or it can feel like a pressure that forces you to move rather than an impulse that inspires you to move. When there is anxiety present, that is a signal that either you are doing something out of alignment or you are not truly aware of what is in alignment. So your experience of anxiety is the best message to slow down, as well as then the obstacles from the universe that force you to stop. Learn to interpret those obstacles as the speed bumps, and instead of pushing over the speed bumps, recognize that the structure of your vehicle will be better maintained when you anticipate them and are able to go over them slowly. Know that yes, excitement is about an acceleration of frequency, but an acceleration of frequency does not mean an acceleration of the acts of the material plane. So many of you, in attempts to make your evolution happen even faster, will speed up all of your activities, when really, actually, your frequency will accelerate more as you deepen your presence into all of the activities and fine-tune your ability to sense the subtle movements of energy present in all that you do.
That was great. Thank you, Council. There does not seem to be new questions. I'm opening it up to the Zoom.
I guess I could ask one more question. I recently saw a video from Elizabeth April, and she was talking about how the rogue reptilians have been attacking the good reptilians and how they've been messing with our timelines through the Hadron Collider. I think that's how I say it. And she's having us all gather on October 11th to just create a field of coherence with love and unity, and send light into the many portals that the negative reptilians supposedly opened in August. And I guess they're trying to jump us back to a timeline where Trump was not president, so that we have the war machine of Hillary Clinton and the Armageddon timelines. So I just wondered, do you guys see this as I'm excited to gather with 3,000 people and just send love. That's always a wonderful thing to do. But I wondered if you could comment on this whole, this whole, what would I call it? This whole narrative of everything that Elizabeth April is saying. She's channeling from the Galactic Federation of Light. So I wondered if you could comment on that.
Well, as long as the intention is to gather in love, and you do it through the process of genuine excitement, this will be something that is beneficial for those involved and for the field of the earth. Though Do you have the power to shift past timelines? Yes, that does take place sometimes, though with the intensity of the emotional impression left by some of the things that you are attempting to shift with this protocol this individual has developed, it is, in a sense, pushing against a resistance too great. And it will bring about an individual shift and integration for those involved, but it will not lead to a genuine shift in the timeline of the entire planet. That said, this individual is, yes, tapping into real energy dynamics that play out on the subtle levels between these different extraterrestrial groups that in turn influence your world. Though do remember that the only people that are able to be manipulated are those that give over their fear to the non-physical. Recognize that as a physical being, you have more power than non-physical beings, thus that it is part of the great gift of your experience in physical reality. Your intention and will is more powerful than that of the non-physical, and they cannot manipulate you or influence you without your consent. In the same way that you must consent to receive the energies that we share, you must consent on some psychic level to be manipulated by those that do not have your best interests. So as long as you are sovereign and centered in yourself and trusting that these invisible forces cannot influence you unless you are willing to be influenced, then nothing will really go wrong.
So is there anything we can do to help that collective shift come faster?
Follow your passion, live in alignment with yourself, put out love in all that you do.
Yeah.
And let the love guide you to the connections and activities that most serve you. And all.
So if we all do that, then we actually start to breathe life into the body of unity, and then just more and more unity and love and organic connections just rise up, and everything else just kind of falls off like a parasite. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thanks to you as well. So now we invite all of you to come together and experience the final meditation tool if you would like.
There may be one last YouTube question if you're okay.
Yes, let's do it.
Okay. From Vanessa Albert, does going to an ancient ruin have any effect on spiritual awakening? Recently visited Belize ruins and also moved to Sedona last year and wonder if that's related.
Yes. Understand that certain places on your planet are vortexes or energy hubs where there is an interdimensional window. It is easier in such places to access particular currents of energy. Your planet is aligned in a way to allow those dimensional portals to be open. Sedona is one of the most potent portals in your North America, and it is a vortex for extraterrestrial energies. There are several species of extraterrestrials that have their ships stationed above some of the vortexes at Sedona, one of which being Bell Rock. These vortexes can allow you to accelerate into interdimensional consciousness and contact with extraterrestrial guides as well as higher realms. And of course, yes, the physical locations everywhere on your planet do receive impressions of those actions and those peoples that have walked those lands. And thus, when you visit ruins, you are able to experience the energetic remnants across time and space of those who have lived there before. And in many of the places visited, the remnants are of cultures that had a more spiritual orientation. Some of these cultures even abhorred life in some senses and valued the afterlife even more than the waking life. And that approach to life has a certain intense charge about it that almost has an allure to the other side. So these ruins have that same potent charge of a time and space in which individuals retain that awareness of the other side, and communities lived in a certain remembrance of natural cycles and natural time. And these places can impart that return to an ancient wisdom in those that visit them. And of course, every ruin, every site has a different frequency.
Thank you. And the last question she added, and are eye floaters related to ascension at all?
Sadly, no. All right. So let us conclude then. Bringing your awareness in, closing your eyes if you would like, and visualizing great roots of light connected to the base of your spine, connected to your feet, traveling outward, down through the earth, wrapping around the various crystals, minerals, and metals, and other elements of the earth until they reach down all the way to the solid core crystal of the earth. Feel its vibration beneath you, and visualize its energy rippling upwards through these roots and passing into your body. Feel this current rise and fill your body with the potent vibrational earth energy. And now as well, visualize a great funnel of light connecting you to the great central sun, the galactic center, allowing that energy to radiate downward and pass through many of the stars connected to your solar system and to your own sun. Letting this light pass like a waterfall into your crown chakra and wash through your body, mixing with the earth energy and enlivening and energizing your field. See yourself now in front of a great castle-like structure. As you walk into it, you'll find a spiral staircase. Along the spiral staircase, there are many doors. Each of these doors represents potential parallel self, one of your soul counterparts that you can interact with. Walk up and through the staircase until you are called to a door that really resonates for you. Notice how it feels as you bring your hand to the door and feel the vibration of the soul counterpart. Step through and walk across the other side. Notice in which environment you meet your soul counterpart. Perhaps it is a room or a wide open space. Notice their appearance, notice the way they present themselves and all that they present to you initially. And you can start to ask them questions. Perhaps you can ask them what the nature of their connection is, your connection with them is. Perhaps you can ask them what you're there to learn from them today, or how you can transform any of the aspects of your life that call to you at this moment. Let your soul counterpart answer your questions through your exploration together. Perhaps they take you to some special location, or they bestow to you a certain tool. Before departing, ask the soul counterpart if there's any way that you can retain your sense of connection with them. There's some word, mantra, tool, or other consciousness vehicle that could be used to continue to establish contact with them in your waking life. Integrate whatever it is they share with you in the way that you do, and thank them for reaching out and inviting you into their reality. Know that you can return to them whenever you like. As you step back into that spiral staircase and gradually leave the castle, returning to your normal waking consciousness with deep breaths in and out. Centering your awareness in your heart, the place from which all inspiration springs, where your passion guides you always to the highest outcomes, even when it seems like mistakes, even when it seems like stagnation. The more you return to this feeling, the more steadfast you will remain on your path. Remembering again, there is nothing you could desire that would not be yours, is not essentially yours. So our great love and thanks to all of you together, and each of you as individuals in co-creating this interaction and continuing to support yourselves and your planet through the work you do. Our love is with all of you, and we wish you a pleasant rest of your day.
Thank you. Wow.
Well,
How are you feeling?
pretty all right.
Awesome. Thank you, Carol.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Josh, for helping with the
Thank you.
questions today.
Thank you, Dante.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Dante. As always, so appreciated.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone for the questions. Those are amazing.
Thanks,
good
everybody. That was fun.
Cool. Yeah, I appreciate everyone for being here. Nice to see you, Raku. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for your questions, Sarah. Mahalo. Josh, Mario, nice that you were here. That we,
Still in
even though we didn't get to see you. What? Oh,
I said I'm
bathrobe.
still in my bathrobe.
Well, that's the kind of comfort we like.
Yeah.
All right, so everyone knows next Thursday we do this as well. Tomorrow is the private session that also allows us to speak of themes that might otherwise not be allowed on YouTube. So you can contact me, dantestarshine@gmail.com, to register for that if you'd like. Donations are always gratefully accepted. My donation links are the first comments in the YouTube chat. And private sessions are available at dantestarshine.com, and blah, blah, blah. what else do I need to say? A whole bunch of blah, blah, blah. Thanks for being here.
Cheers.
How was this session for everybody?
It's good.
It's really
immense,
good.
immense energy rush at the end in the meditation. Explosion of energy rush. Really something. Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost good. It's interesting because like sometimes I have this preconceived notion that like it's going to put me too much in my head, but it's like the questions are so full spectrum that they just honor like every chakra in the body. And I'm just like, I'm always just like amazed at how apropos, every question is. I'm just like, oh my God, that's a great one. Oh my God, that's a great answer. I'm just like, yeah, it's like this bottomless mecca of beautiful answers and questions and all that stuff. Yeah.
There's a lot of good stuff today.
See, this is how close I get to the tropics. I have my tapestry. It's a big tapestry though. It takes over my whole dining room.
I think that's a great permission slip to be in Hawaii, wherever you are.
Frank and I dressed up like in our bathing suits and we stood on chairs and we pretended like we were having a honeymoon in Hawaii. And people were like, oh my God, you're in Hawaii. And I'm like, nah, we're just in the living room. We had sunglasses. It was the middle of winter. It was hilarious.
Nice.
That is quite funny. The way you can trick people.
It was funny.
Hey, Dante, what's going to happen to the older Friday sessions that you've done? Are the recordings or will there be any transcripts or any of that information? Will that be available for people later? What's your thinking on that?
I think most of them I can still share with people for a donation. So, I mean, I can do whatever donation you'd like, I guess, at this point. If you would like access to the previous uncensored transmissions, please message me and I can get them to you. Hopefully, hopefully they're still on the cloud. Like I just have them as Zoom links. So over time they do expire, but I think I have all of them still.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. I can't make it tomorrow. I can't do tomorrow. So next time.
Next time, yeah.
Ciao, ciao. I gotta go.
People know about the uncensored ones. Like, unless there's a pretty full group, we don't do the full 2 hours. So we just do it kind of as however many people are there. Need like 3 or 4 for like 90 minutes, but I will always do it regardless of how many people show up. It just might be a little bit shorter, but that also allows you to get maybe a free private session. So there you go.
Cool.
Okay.
Ciao, ciao.
How are you
We do have like one sign up tomorrow, so it's definitely happening.
Bye.
Bye, Mahalo.
Bye.
Thank you again.
See you, Mike.
How are you guys? How are you liking Asheville, Dante? Are you feeling at home there?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Let me turn off the live.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's just visit.
So, okay. Thank you, YouTube, for tuning in. We'll see you next week or on the Friday sessions. And of course, the channeling course is still available to anyone who might be interested. We'll do it privately, so you can go through the whole materials and do one-to-one sessions and take that material and use it in a way to become a channel yourself. Many people who've graduated from the course are now doing channeling professionally. So I can only say the results others have had, but I enjoyed a lot and experienced a lot of transformation through it. Anyway, bye YouTube. Gonna take this off live. Oh, wait. Wait, can I actually take it off live?
I don't know if you can.
Oh, wait, maybe, no, you're back host, so that's good.
I don't think you can. We should just, we could get on another Zoom link. You guys could come in my room if you have a minute. We could chat.
Sure.
Okay, so just go to tinyurl.com/Sarah's Zoom room, and then you'll be in my Zoom room. Okay?
Cool.
Okay.
You have to be signed into Zoom.